Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami. Friends and children in the Dhamma, welcome for our Dhamma Talk. Today this Dhamma Talk is being sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Salia and Amita Kalansurya, with the aspirations to dedicate all these merits to all those departed ones, specifically to the parents of Mr. Salia and to Mrs. Chitra Kottahachi, who was the mother of and also to dedicate these merits to the departed father of Mrs. Amita and Geeta, also to the sister Chitra Kottahachi, to the departed parents, brothers and sisters of Dr. Kottahachi, departed parents of Mr. Samita, and also, while aspiring these merits for those departed ones, they are expecting to share these merits for the well-being of their beloved mother, brothers and sisters, and the children. So let's enjoy this Dhamma. Let's rejoice with this Dhamma. And the merits that we generate can be dedicated to those beloved ones who are no more among us. And these merits can share with those family members, friends and children for their health, physical and psychological well-being. So with these aspirations, let's start our Dhamma Talk. Today, what I am thinking of sharing with you is the karma. The karma or the kamma. Karma is the Sanskrit word, kamma is the Pali word. Now, this is not something just belong to Buddhism. Karma is not just for Buddhism, a Buddhist teaching, but also many other religious leaders in the present era as well as in the past, they thought about this karma. But what is the difference? The difference is the factor of mind. Most of those other religious teachers, when they were teaching karma, they forgot about the mind. For them, any action, irrelevant of being intentional or not, they confined them, placed them in the object of the karma. If somebody is to walk on while he is asleep, in his dreams he is forced to walk out of the bed, and while walking he might do some crimes, he might kill someone, he might walk some small creatures and kill. In his dream, in his sleepy, in his subconscious level, he might do something good or bad. Naturally, we know he doesn't have that responsibility for that action because he is asleep. So also, if his consciousness is gone, or let's say he becomes mad, psychologically drained, he has lost his sense of awareness, such a person, whatever he does, cannot put in the category of karma. So the karma, in the Buddhist perspective, belong to the individuals who can be mindful, who are mindful of what is happening. So Buddha says, Chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami. Monks, I say, karma is chetana, the volition, the intention. And he says, volition is the karma. Now you can see why Buddha insists this volition as the karma. He gave such a priority to the volition, and he just ignored the factors of physical, verbal, and he just pushed himself to this volition to name as the karma, where the karma happens, because he wanted to persist on the idea that if there is no the factor of mind, consciousness, there is no possibility for a karma to arise. Karma or the action happens because there is mind. And the intentional or volition aspect of the mind. Chetayitva kammam karoti. Having thought, having willed, one works upon an action. One acts having willed. Kayena vacha manasa. Then he says, having willed, one acts with the use of the physical body, kayena, or with the use of our ability of speaking, vacha, and thinking, manasa. So these three aspects, kayena, vacha, manasa, the body, the speech, and the mind, are the sources behind any karma. Now, when we look at the world in the Buddhist vision, we can categorize all the individuals in the world as enlightened and unenlightened. Enlightened ones, we know they are the ones who have got rid of all the bondages to the samsaric process of birth and death, who have gone beyond the worldly aspect of life. And the unenlightened one, including all of us, including even those who are called Sotapanna, stream winners, Sakadagami, once returners, Anagami, non-returners, who can be born in the pure lands, pure abodes in the Brahma realms, still they are unenlightened. So, including all those noble individuals on the stages to Nibbana, the rest of the world are the unenlightened ones. Now, karma happens to those unenlightened ones, not to the enlightened ones. Why? When the enlightened ones, arahants, when they do something, the background is wisdom, panya. Panya, wisdom, is the background, or more accurately, it is awareness, mindfulness. Their actions naturally are good actions. But are there results for those good actions? No results. They are simply actions without results. Why? Because the intention is not the background. Their action manifests no result. So in Abhidhamma they are called Kiriya Chittas. Just actions, mere actions. Functional consciousness, just a function. Just a function. Nothing else. But for us, our good or bad actions have roots. These roots go deep down in the worldly realms, in the world, in the life, in the samsara. What are these roots? In the unwholesome side, lobha, greed, dosa, hatred, and moha, ignorance, delusion. Greed, hatred, delusion are in the unwholesome side. Wholesome fraction, non-greed, the opposite, non-greed. Alobha, non-hatred, adosa, and amoha, non-delusion. Now let us look at the unwholesome side. Lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion. Now let's say greed, lobha. Can it happen together with hatred? Hatred and greed cannot function together. They function, they happen alone. Where there is greed, there is no hatred. Greed is to attach. Hatred is to attack, fight. Cannot happen together. But greed always happens together with delusion. Where there is delusion in the background, greed happens. If you are to see the reality of anything, how can you be attached to it? As long as you don't see the reality, that it is impermanent, that it is suffering if you try to cling on to that impermanence, that it is not yours because it is impermanent and cause for suffering. If you see the reality, how can you be attached? How can there be any greed on it? Lobha cannot exist with wisdom. Lobha can exist only with the delusion. So delusion plus greed, always. Delusion plus hatred also. How can you hate with the wisdom? Only with the delusion you can hate someone. So the delusion needs the color or the background color where there is greed or hatred to arise. When there is greed and hatred and delusion in us, you can see they are either one, they are always two-rooted or dual-rooted or singular-rooted. Why they are called dual-rooted? Because greed and delusion together, dual-rooted. Hatred, delusion are together, dual-rooted. And delusion arises alone. When delusion arises alone? Delusion arises when you doubtful, when you are doubtful, you are doubting. Just delusion is there. In Abhidhamma, Buddha says, of course Abhidhamma, the scholar says, explains that consciousness as momuha chitta. Momuha chitta, just absorbed in delusion. When you are just doubtful about something, remember delusion is functioning in you. And also, when your mind is restless, agitated, cannot control, then also your mind is full of delusion. So when there is agitation of the mind, when there is doubt in the mind, delusion are the function. Whatever you do, whatever you say based on those doubt or agitation, the driving factor behind your unwholesome deed is delusion. So these are the triple roots of unwholesome. Remember, they are dual rooted or singular rooted, never triple rooted. Now comes to the wholesome side. In wholesome side, alobha, non-greed. How does it manifest? As generosity, opening your pocket, giving something. Now, you give something to whom? To somebody else. In love, in compassion, or in respect. In respect to someone who are higher than you, not politically, not money-wise, but a spiritual sense. In virtuous, in virtues, in morality, if somebody is higher than you, you give something to that person. You give something out of respect. Respect is the key when you share something with that person. And also you can share with the ones you love, your peers, neighbors, family members, your children, your parents. You can share something with them and you share something with them. The love is the key. Out of love you do that. And also you see some helpless poor person, poor guy on the streets, homeless. You share something with that person. What is the key behind it? Compassion. Out of compassion to the plight of that particular person, you share something with that person. So if you are to be in conflict with the person you are sharing, you cannot share. So non-greed manifests as generosity, and that generosity to happen, there must be non-hatred. Non-hatred. That non-hatred manifests as respect, love, and compassion. And these two factors are not enough. There must be another factor to complete an action of a great meritorious deed, an action of a triple-rooted meritorious deed. What is the next factor that you have to maintain? The wisdom factor. Knowledge. Knowledge that your action will give results. Knowledge of the reality. Knowledge of the truth, of the way the world happens, what the world works. The knowledge there is the key factor to complete a moral action and a wholesome action to be perfect. What are these three factors? With the wisdom, with love, respect or compassion, you become generous. You become a person of sharing. You fight with your stinginess and share something. So when these triple roots are completed, that action is called Tihetuka Kusala Kamma. Tihetuka Kusala Kamma. What are they? Non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. Simple, but very difficult to practice. That's why in Abhidhamma, those scholars, they explained these triple roots to happen in different levels of consciousness. They categorized those consciousness where these triple roots function. They say it begins with somanassa sahagata, with a happy, pleasant mind. Jnana sampayutta. Jnana sampayutta, with knowledge, with wisdom. Asankarika, unprompted. This is how you have to find, you have to check yourself whether this meritorious deed I am doing now is based on my happiness. Before doing it, while doing it, and after the action. Before, while and after, am I maintaining my happiness? I am happy. Am I happy or not? Something individually has to investigate, has to be mindful to maintain the happiness before, while and after. The second one, the knowledge that good begets good, bad begets bad. The action and result, cause and effect. The awareness on the result of your action, the awareness of the validity of your action is the second factor to be fulfilled. More you know about it, your heart is more immersed in it, sunk in it. Buddha says once. Now he got this Dhamma to explain with an example. There was Venerable Sariputta, his right hand disciple, the wisest disciple of the Buddha. He was sitting aside of the Buddha. Lord Buddha asked the assembly, the monks, "Monks, tell me, if Venerable Sariputta offer me something, or if I give something to Sariputta, who will get the best of the merits? Who will gain the best results of the merit?" Of course, those arahants have nothing to do with the meritorious results. Their journey is over. They have done their duties. Meritorious results are not their concern. But this is just an example to educate the listeners. So Buddha asked this question: if I, the Lord Buddha, the Tathagata, give something to Sariputta, or if Sariputta offer me something, who will get the best result? Who will get the best benefit out of that offering? Monks, of course, they replied, Lord Buddha is always the supreme, always the best of the human beings, who can gain the best of the results by offering something to him. The rest of the world, he is the punya kettang anuttarang, he is the supreme most field of merit. Where you plant a seed of merits, it will yield you the best of the result. So the monk said, when Venerable Sariputta offer Lord Buddha something, he will get the best result. Venerable Sariputta, on the other hand, is the disciple of Buddha. Now Lord Buddha is giving something to him, from the top to the bottom. Buddha is in the pinnacle, Sariputta is little bit lower to him. So the best of the merits or the results of the merits are to happen for Sariputta, not for the Lord Buddha. Buddha said, no, you are wrong. More than anybody in this world, including all of you, I know the results of merits. I know the value of all the merits in the world better than anybody else. I have fulfilled the 10 perfections to the ultimate level, ultimate sense. So I know the results of good deeds better than anybody else. Therefore,